Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to show you all about some self-care strategies for neck pain. So what we're going to do first is we're going to do a little bit of what's called spinal hygiene, which is trying to get movement into the bones of the neck. So there's 6 degrees of range of motion in the cervical spine or the neck. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by moving through each of those through a relatively pain-free range of motion. So if you wake up and you've got a kink in your neck or you feel stiffness or tightness, this would be a great way to start things out really easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to look over both shoulders and then back to neutral. Look over the other shoulder and back to neutral. Now you'd probably go through this about 5 times in each direction, so I won't go through that, but you get the idea. Then we're going to look up and down. And then we're going to bring our ears to our shoulders. They call this lateral bending. Good. So we're going to try to get as much movement as we can. And what you'll notice is I'm always coming back to the center line before going into the opposite direction. So you go through each of those movements about 5 times. And then that way we've got the neck nice and warmed up to be able to begin with a little bit more advanced movements, which are going to incorporate some resistance. So the next thing we're going to do is what's called a 3-way neck stretch. So there's 3 different components. The first one is we're going to go ahead and bring our ear down to our shoulder by bringing one arm behind the back. What this does is it lengthens the muscles on the left side, in this case of the trap muscles on the left side of my neck. And I'm going to pull over, bringing my ear to shoulder with light resistance. You don't need to go in there and crank on this, but if you get enough pressure, you'll feel that there's a nice clean stretch through the trap muscles on this side. Next thing I'd have you do, same idea with the arm behind the back. I'm going to have you look down into your armpit and have your hand more toward the back of the skull, pulling down into the armpit. That's going to work the muscles toward the back of the neck. And then the last one is I'm going to have you look up, and you'll notice it's going to tension all the muscles to the front of the neck. So you've really worked all 3 angles. Then what you do is you go through the same progression and go on the other side. I think just holding those exercises for about 15 seconds each will help to get those tissues nice and limber. Next thing I'd have you do is I'd have you break out your lacrosse ball. Lacrosse ball is great because it's got a nice density to it, but it's got also a little bit soft. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you place this ball a lot of times in your traps and in what's called your rhomboids, the muscles in between your shoulder blades. I'm going to have you find a spot that hurts oh so good. I'm going to place the ball right where I feel it most. I'm going to lay on the ball, and I'm going to go through a range of motion with my arm, trying to bring it all the way through in order to be able to hit all the tissues through the upper back and through the neck. And you're going to work on this for about 2 minutes, and then you can switch sides so that you would do both left and right hand sides of the traps. It's a great way to be able to get in and break up any knots that you have. A lot of times people carry their stress in their shoulders, so being able to hit those areas is a really great way. This will feel like oh so good. It'll be painful, but oh so good. So if you're feeling that, that's exactly what we want. Make sure that you're breathing throughout that portion of the exercise. Second thing we've done is another tool that I loved using. This is what we call a peanut. This is just 2 lacrosse balls that's taped together with athletic tape. When you're making these, you're just going to do one long piece of tape, just back and forth over and over again until you've got it nice and stable. Now the cool part about this is a great tool for working into the upper back. So what you do is you go ahead and place this one ball on either side of the spine, and then you can lay back on this, and you can bring your hips up off the ground and just roll through the upper back. Again, this is a really great way of being able to hit those tissues. The second thing I'd have you do, and this is great for the upper neck, and a lot of times this is an area that a lot of times will cause things like headaches or dizziness, sometimes migraines or sinus pressure, is you're going to want to take the ball, or excuse me, the peanut, and put it right up at the top of the skull here. And what you're going to do is you're going to lay down on it with the balls right at the top of the neck, right up underneath the skull there. And all I'm going to have you do is just go ahead and press down into the ball, almost like I'm firing these deep neck flexors, and I'm going to gap the joint between my skull and the first bone in my neck. So we're just going to fire and really try to make that triple chin here down into this area. This is going to open up those tissues, put a lot of stress right at these tissues right at the top. They call them occipital muscles. These are really, really crucial in getting rid of things like headaches. Now, once you've gone through and you've done these 5 movements, if you still have neck pain, the thing that I would recommend that you do that's not really going to have any negative consequences. You're going to take an ice pack and you're going to wrap it up in a towel so that it's not going to be directly on your skin. And you're just going to go ahead and place that towel and the ice pack right around the tissues of the neck. I'd have you put that on there for about a 15-minute time period. And then when you're done, go ahead and take it off, put it back in the freezer, pull it out later on again if you need it. Now, after coming off of this, you'll typically notice that your body will be a little bit more stiff, and that's just a consequence of the ice. So don't worry about that. Our ultimate goal is just to be able to progressively be able to bring back range of motion. What's neat about movement in the spine is that the sensation of movement and the sensation of pain, when it comes to how your body feels these, they travel across the same pathway in your nerves. So just like two cars trying to go down the same road at the same time, always one will have to take precedent to the other. So if we don't have movement in the muscles and in the joints of our neck, pain goes unblocked and we experience more discomfort. In comparison, if we go through, we do our spinal hygiene, we use our lacrosse balls and our peanuts like I've talked to you guys about, what will happen is movement will actually take precedent and it will block the sensation of pain, and now we experience more pleasure, more ease, and that's really what we're going for. So guys, use this 5-step strategy to be able to help you get back range of motion, which will help your body to feel better and have your neck be a lot more comfortable. We'll see you guys next time.